Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. And today we talk with Katherine Lazaruk. She's joining us from Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. She's founder and president of Lazaruk Consulting, working towards gender parity, one leader at a time. So, Katherine, you've often said image only matters where it matters. What does that mean?
Yeah. So there is a common misconception that our image is, there's two different schools of thought. The first school of thought is it doesn't matter at all. Don't judge a book by its cover. You should get to know me as a person. Then there is another school of thought that says it matters all the time because people will think things about you before they get to know you. And if your external presentation is congruent with who you are internally as a person, then people will know, like, and trust you faster. So there's these two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And over my, it's been more than a decade now in this image executive coaching world. I started out in pure image consulting, and I always struggled with that idea that it has to matter all the time. It can be pleasurable for it to matter all the time. Like, for example, I'm a person who has a high level of attention to detail. I like it when my lounging clothes at home are beautiful and restful. I enjoy that, right? But I'm also equally comfortable waking up with the craziest bedhead you've ever seen. And I think the problem with people thinking that it matters all the time or that it doesn't matter is that they're missing a wealth of opportunity to really show the world who they are. So when I say it doesn't matter, so for example, you're on the beach, you're hanging out with your family or your lover or, people that you care about, and you want to wear the bikini, wear the bikini. Don't worry about what people are thinking about you in those kinds of situations.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. If you wake up in the morning with bedhead and bad breath and your lover is beside you, your partner is beside you, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need to wear makeup to wake up in the morning. It doesn't matter. And it does matter in situations where you're trying to make a particular kind of impression. And I often say to clients, you're the same piece of equipment, like a stereo, right? You turn your volume up, you turn your volume down. You're the same all the way across. And the idea is to look for congruence all the way across and not necessarily worry about being on all the time. It's not possible. It's exhausting.
And I agree with you, but one point that I believe in and I try to live by. And I agree. Wake up in the morning, bad breath, and disheveled, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But once we open the door and step out, we're not stepping out. We're stepping into that world.
Yes.
And we're seen. And in the real world today, you may not even be seen by people. We're seen by so many cameras and video equipment and everything that even before you step in for an interview or a presentation, somebody's seen you. A camera has seen you. People see you. The door person sees you. The person parking your car maybe sees you. We're seen all the time. We just don't think we are.
True. And there are still degrees of nuance in how presented, quote unquote, how presented you want to be. So for example, if I'm going to the grocery store, yes, it's possible I might run into a client. But I'm also not going to the grocery store in my full business gear unless I'm coming from after work. I'm adjusting what I'm doing for the occasion that I'm doing it.
But you probably wouldn't go in your PJs.
Have I ever gone for groceries in my pajamas? I don't think so.
No, but in that sense, you can meet a customer or a potential customer wherever in the line waiting, for checkout.
That's true. And I really do believe, though, there are moments where it doesn't matter. Like you are going out to get a carton of milk and you need to, I think a lot about women with this equation, because particularly young working moms or working moms of any kind, where that's a difficult job. And so if you're thinking about the fact that you have to put lipstick on and do a whole bunch of other things before you can walk out the door, when really all you need is a carton of milk, I'm for giving yourself some grace.
Well, I agree with you. I think when you talk about gender parity, I think, no, and I have to agree with you. I think men look at women differently than women look at women.
Yes.
Women have a better understanding of what you just said. You may be carrying around 2 kids and a dog and a carton of milk, right?
Right.
And you're not
And
really
it's
worried about the lipstick.
No.
Whereas the man is just saying, wow, what milk did you buy?
Yeah, it maybe is a more functional approach, right? And the challenges are different. And it's not that men don't have their own unique challenges. I think that the strong challenge for men is actually learning to let things go and to take on some of those, for example, the mental and emotional labor of like household tasks or even at work. For men, the real challenge for men is to break down some of their barriers and to look at women differently and to look at people who aren't typical leaders, quote unquote, differently, and to see beyond the surface, because even though the surface is important, it's not the only thing. And I think we're missing voices at the table in leadership if we don't look beyond simply what someone is presenting just because we're not used to it.
I agree. I think that's the first presentation, but once you do open the book, you need something inside.
Absolutely. We all have something inside.
We have to show it.
Now,
basically, your focus is in private executive coaching.
That's true. Yes.
And it's anywhere. It's not only face-to-face.
No, I do a lot of virtual work. I have a client. I just went to San Francisco to work with my client, but usually I talk to her over the phone or we do Zoom calls as well. And I've had clients all over the place.
Very
good. I think getting an executive coach is like dating. You really have to have the right fit.
Right.
And you have to have the person who has the right attitude for you.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it doesn't work very well. And I've had many coaches myself, and some of them have worked better than others. And some of them have been great for a period in my life when I needed what they had, and other people just really didn't work out. And so I'm not the executive coach for everybody, and everybody's not for me. Actually, my client laughed. She goes, you like really work to choose your clients? She said, you must like them because we're going to spend a lot of time together. I'm like, oh yeah, my screening processes are robust.
Well, anyway, how can our listeners find you to see if they like you? All right.
Right. If they like me. If you're looking for an executive coach that isn't your traditional executive coach and you want to find me, my website is lzrkconsulting.com or lzrkconsulting.com for people who have that kind of pronunciation of the Z or Z.
All right.
And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find, Katherine Lazaruk, and on Instagram.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing your time and your voice with our audience.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me. It's lovely to talk to somebody in sunny Brazil.
Thank you. And again, for our listeners, you can find more information. It's Katherine Lazaruk. The first name is Katherine. The last name Lazaruk. Find her on LinkedIn and lzrkconsulting.com. Café Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at their site, focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.